Hello and welcome to Arrowhead Resort. This is going to be my first park, my first attempt at making something here in Planet Coaster. It is going to be a lot of detail and a lot of scenery, but this also means that you guys are going to be getting a lot of tutorials and a lot of time lapses, hopefully. I don't know, it depends on how lazy I am again. But that being said, I'm hoping to actually release things on time, and hopefully I can continue on a scheduled pattern. Arrowhead Resort is going to be my focus on these big extravagant buildings, these big areas, a full theme park experience, and that's something that I really want to focus on. It's something I really haven't done before, or have gotten to do before. That means lighting effects, that means rides, that means parks, that means, well, really everything. So, this first part that I am bringing you guys into is going to be the beginning of a town, or like some kind of resort village, if you will. And this is going to be the perfect place for us to begin our tutorials and something that we can actually work on together. Now we're going to go ahead and open up the buildings here, and one of the first things you guys are going to see is, pre-built buildings. And there are going to be movement settings right there on the left-hand side with that menu. So please keep that in mind because you will be referencing them until you've remembered exactly what they are and when they are. Now these first building pieces right here are going to be something that doesn't use a grid. You can actually tell this directly on the menu by seeing the background of the item, so you can make these modern art pieces or do really whatever you want. Now, these first pieces, as I mentioned, they do have a white background, so that means they aren't going to be on a grid. The ones that are on a grid are going to be having the grid background, which is something you can see directly behind the object. Please keep that in mind when building, because that will be important when you are placing very specific items. And some buildings do require you to make multiple buildings in order to get things done, but that's a little bit advanced. At the moment, I kind of want to just leave things simple, especially since this is going to be the first tutorial in many, and I think it's only fitting that our first item is going to be following this grid structure. Now, when you place down a grid item, you're going to notice that it is indeed on a grid, and you can place on all four corners of said grid. Please keep that in mind again when building, because sometimes you can go into a little bit more depth and get a little bit more detail just simply by cheating the grid or adding something to another grid on the outside. Now, in order to demonstrate what I'm going to show you here, which is simply seeing the corner pieces right here on the wall, if you move a wall to a 90-degree or right angle of the other wall on the same grid, it's going to create a corner piece that doesn't look necessarily clipping of textures or anything like that, so they do it to make it not look as bad. The best way to really kind of, display this would be looking at these pieces right here. These little slant pieces are going to be showing you exactly what corners are where and when, and they will be giving you a really good indication of what the walls will look like when they're put together at the same time. Now, our first building is going to be pretty simple. I decided that our first building, the first thing that we ever build here in Planet Coaster together, is going to be a box. Just a simple box, something that everybody knows what it is, everybody knows what we can do. And, I don't know, it just seems like the right thing to do. Now, we do need a roof to finish our box. And this roof doesn't really look like it fits that well. I don't really like the the top pieces on the sides. So let's get rid of that, and let's just make a simple roof right there. There we go. Now, in a building, you can also make different adjustments as far as color goes. That's something that we do also see. You can make really putrid colors like red, yellow, and pink. I believe that's what I chose. Yeah, that's good. You can make red, yellow, and pink, make it really like disgusting in every way. Kind of looks like a venereal disease or something. I don't know. It's there. It exists. There's no changing that now. It's there. Anyway, the next thing that we're going to do, because we have built our first box, is we are going to be building a shop. Now, why are we building a shop? Well, the answer is pretty simple. Once you place a shop, you're going to notice a grid pops up. That's also going to be really useful because, well, that means as you place this building, you have now essentially placed, well, a new building. There's no real other way to place it. So let's go back into the building tab and let's actually build on, what is this? Building 35, if I'm reading that correctly. I don't know, it's kind of hard to see on the smaller screen that I have the recording on. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and choose a wall that fits. I don't really want it to be the same brick as before because it's going to be, I don't know, unique, if you will. I want that. So, I went a little bit more worn down brick. I think it worked out pretty well. What I'm doing back here is you're going to notice I'm going to be placing these window ledge things. Is there a name for these? I don't know. These window ledge things, we're going to be placing them right there, just ahead of the back of the other grid. So we can add a little bit of depth, have something behind there, so it'll just kind of look, I don't know, it'll look less flat, if you will. And that's going to be something that even that is going to be helping out in any building, and that will be something that we can use to our advantage. Now, to finish off this building again, we're going to be needing to go into the roof. We don't really need to fill in that middle piece because nobody's ever going to see it. So we're just going to go ahead and skip it, and we're going to go straight to the roof. Now, it took me a while to find out exactly which roof I wanted to do. I actually played around for a little bit, and that is also something that you guys are going to be needing to be aware of. Every building that you make in Planet Coaster is a fight with the menu. And I mean that quite literally. Once you actually understand where everything is in Planet Coaster, which does take a while, you might be, I don't know, faster, but even still you're going to have to look and dig for your items that you want to use, and that can sometimes be a hassle, but I'm not going to be overly picky. Now, speaking of the grids a little bit more, you can actually change the grid size right there on the right-hand side that you see I'm doing, and that will allow you to raise, lower on different values. It'll allow you to place things a little bit more precisely, which can be very, very helpful when you're making very intricate buildings. Now, I went with this thatch roof, even though it doesn't really fit with the building itself, and I don't know. It's just for the purpose of the actual tutorial. It's there. It exists. It's part of my family forever now. Nobody's gonna change that. And now we have this little cone head building. So I don't know what we're gonna do next. I believe it was I don't know. Hold on. Gotta wait. Gotta watch the video. There we go. Yeah, that's right. I lowered the so professional. I lowered the thing so we had the little wood sticking out right there, just so it added a little bit more depth. Speaking of depth, I took away the back walls right there so we can add in a little bit of color. I knew exactly what I was looking for here in the menu, but it took me a little bit of time to find it because I am an ultra wow. Okay, stutter. I do that a lot. English, fun. Anyway, getting back to this. Yeah, I went ahead and chose wood. That's what it's called? Yeah, wood. That's something that you can paint. So let's go ahead and paint that to a red, and then let's go ahead and paint the other one to a blue. Red versus blue. I don't know. Yeah. There's not really anything I can say about that. So, we have now built our next building. That is something that you guys can feel proud of. Yay! That is how you build buildings, or I guess very, very basic structures, and really a lot of the very intricate buildings that you see here are empty on the inside. They have a lot of detail on the outside. They add a little bit of character by not making things symmetrical, adding light. By the way, lighting can really change the mood of a building and an area in a lot of different senses. So whenever you're building something in Planet Coaster, please be aware of the lighting because it does have a night mode, and if you do want to enjoy night mode, I would highly recommend lighting because it really can bring life to, in other words, a lifeless area. Now, I think that's all I have to say for the tutorial. There's not going to be much more I have as far as getting the basics of building down, so the next pieces are going to be pretty much different sections of buildings. Path walls, handrails, more intricate buildings, etc. We're about to run out of video here. No, there it goes. Let me know what you guys want to see for tutorials. They're probably going to be shorter tutorials than this, but I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one.